No, good morning, all. It's one of the highlights of my week to say that. Look at the screen, see 25 people. Don't quite always see who's on the other page, but it's great to be here. Although today I got to admit that when I woke up, it was like waking up and wondering if I was dreaming or not. It was like waking up in a kind of alternate reality. Uh, like, did I really dream that we have a new president and vice president elect? Is that real? Uh, and then I went to bed at midnight last night, up to watching Notre Dame defeat number one Clemson in the double overtime. Which I mean, I still gonna have to watch the replay on that one. But so it's and so that really gets into the theme today because the Buddha, for instance, that was a nickname, and it just means the guy who woke up. Bud means wake. The common, in hip parlance today, people talk about being woke. Well, the Buddha, 2,500 years ago, woke from the dream. Well, what was the dream? Well, the dream was that the dream was of a sort of separate self that existed separate from everything else. I was inside this bag of skin behind these eyes, and all of you are out there. That was the dream. He woke up from it, and many other people along the way. Jesus woke up from that dream 2,000 years ago. Rumi 800 years ago. People all over the planet, if you really look, at different places, it seemed like something's going on. People are waking up to this dream that I don't exist in the way I think I exist, and that actually uh, um, we're all connected. And then you have all the Einstein and all his quantum buddies who were waking up to this scientifically because they were studying little, well, really not observable to the eye, uh, photons and which even smaller than the atom. They were studying these like little pieces of light that actually had no mass. It's sort of beyond comprehension to a human mind until you're in that field, uh, the field that Rumi talks about. But they came to the same conclusion that they woke up and they had calculations to say, hey, no. Merton in 1958, March 19th, 1958, he had his experience on the street corner, and the key line is there. He says, I woke from the dream of separateness. Yeah, that's the big waking up. That there's I that I think is in here, and then all you are out there. It's a dream, it's illusion in that sense. Einstein called it the optical delusion, because all these uh, physicists in the earliest 20th century, about 100 years ago, they all end up talking like mystics because that was their experience. Is just this idea that anything could be separate from anything else is an optical delusion. I mean, it looks like you're there on the screen, and it looks like I'm here. I know Tom, is in Indiana, and I know I'm in Kentucky or in Houston or in Chicago. You go, I know that at a certain level, but are we separate? Yeah. See, so that's waking from the dream. So we're going to work with that theme a little bit. What it means to be really woke. Think of think of the last rainbow you saw. Just picture it for a minute. I remember seeing one in Maui. It went all the way around in a circle. Rarely you can see that, depending on the geography or whatever. But we were near the rainforest in Maui, and we could see when there's a complete circle, and you could actually see what the Germans called the Nebenregenbogen. You could see the other rainbow that was inside the rainbow. So I can still remember it in my mind's eye. But did it actually exist, really? Same. Well, that's a good question. That's a good question. I'm going to read a poem by Rilke. Rainer Maria Rilke lived in Bohemia, part of Germany, about the time that all these quantum guys were doing all their discoveries and freaking each other out with them. And Rilke he's a quantum poet. He's like Rumi. He's a guy who was in the quantum realm just because he was a mystic and a poet. And he was on a train going to the Siberian Railroad, and the train broke down. And so he had to get out while they were fixing it. And he went out and he was sitting on a kind of slope underneath a monastery, a Russian Orthodox monastery. And then all of a sudden the bells rang and he woke up in a way. Here's the poem. The hour is striking so close above me, so clear and sharp, that all my senses ring with it. I feel it now. There's a power in me to grasp and give shape to my world. I know that nothing has ever been real without my beholding it. All becoming has needed me. My looking ripens things, and they come toward me to meet and be met. The hour is striking so close above me, so clear and sharp, that all my senses ring with it. I feel it now. There's a power in me to grasp and give shape to my world. I know that nothing has ever been real without my beholding it. All becoming has needed me. My looking ripens things, and they come toward me to meet and be met. It doesn't get any more woke or any more quantum than that. So let's look at that for a minute, and then we'll go back to the rainbow. He says, I feel it now. There's a power in me to grasp and give shape to my world. He says, I know that nothing has ever been real without my beholding it. All becoming has needed me. My looking ripens things. They come toward me to meet and be met. That's quite a statement. I know that nothing has ever been real without my beholding it. So, think of the rainbow for a minute. Is it real? Is it a noun? In our grammar, it's a noun. It's a person, place, or thing. So that rainbow, that thing up there, yeah, it's real. I'm seeing it. Okay. But is it really real? Is it really a noun? Actually, when you break down a rainbow, Aristotle took a swipe at it, Descartes, Newton, finally, if you could measure it, it was real. But really, how real is a rainbow? There's three elements there. There's the sun, sunlight. There's the raindrops. What's the third element? Is you. If you're not there to see it, no rainbow. And if somebody is like somebody's in Bardstown, I saw a rainbow not too long ago in the back of our house here at Loose Leaf Hollow. Did somebody in Bardstown see that rainbow? No. For them, it didn't exist. Did it really exist? So we've got these three elements. So when you really see it, reality is it's this interaction. It's really, when Buckminster Fuller, the guy who invented the geodesic dome, he lived the first 4 years of his life with his eyes crossed until they corrected them. So he saw the world for 4 years differently than everybody else. And then, Einstein didn't talk for 4 years because he was thinking about time and had no words. He was a little baby. He was thinking about time and his grandfather's watch. had no words. So these people who seem to be like impaired, they're really seeing things from a different point of view, you see. Well, Fuller said God is a verb. Changes everything if you consider that. And it's a verb the way the rainbow is a verb, because it's an interaction. That's why he says, all becoming has needed me. Every rainbow needs you, you say. And my looking ripens things. I love that word because that's a word that Jesus uses in the Beatitudes, in the eight Beatitudes. In Aramaic, what we start the Beatitudes with: blessed are the poor in spirit, blessed are those who mourn, blessed are, blessed are. But the word in Aramaic, tuvveun, means ripening. And as Rilke understands the same way that the quantum guys understand that your looking ripens things. I'm working on an op-ed that's going to come out Wednesday, and I've got several questions in there. The old question: if a tree falls in the forest and there's nobody around to hear it, does it make a sound? Same question. The quantum answer would be, what tree? No, because it takes those three elements. It takes, you could say, oh, well, video, if you can put a video camera there, it can record it. Yeah, but that's an eye. That's a form of you that we just put in there, but does it make a sound? Same question. How about this one? If a ballot is unopened and counted, does it exist? It's another good one, another more timely one. Does it exist? So you can go on and on. I'm working on a stream of questions to ask in that vein. The working title of the piece right now is democracy an illusion, a reality, or a dance? I'll leave it up to you to figure that one out. But it really, the whole quantum realm, the mystic realm, the spiritual realm, and you got to say, modern science and with physics got into the spiritual realm because they were working and observing things that could not be observed by the naked eye. You can't see a photon. You got to have equipment. The question is, how did Buddha do it with no equipment? How did Jesus do it? How did Rumi do it in the 13th century with no equipment? None of these, electronic microscopes and all that kind of stuff. Well, the Buddha was the original guy who came up with this, and he said, maybe, just maybe, all this stuff out there is not the way it appears, and maybe if I turn the microscope inside, I can find out that I'm not as I think I am. So you're not what you think. But then again, reality is. Reality is. Part of the things, if you catch us on Wednesday, you'll get the full picture. But part of the thing has 3 Supreme Court justices getting drunk in a bar. That's part of that thing. I'm not sure exactly where that's going, but we'll have to imagine that. Imagine 3 Supreme Court justices getting drunk in a bar, and they're talking about baseball, and one of them says, well, I just call balls and strikes. And the other one says, well, I sort of call them as I see them. And then the third one, well, I'm not sure what the third one says. I'll let you read it on Wednesday, we'll find out. But there's 3 Supreme Court justices getting drunk in a bar. So we're talking about this idea, though, but really the key word in here is everything out there that we think is reality needs you. All becoming needed me. My looking ripens things. And they come toward me to meet and to be met. Yeah. Was the Berlin Wall real? Was it, whoever thought that it would fall? Nobody ever thinks it was possible that anything would happen until it does. It was an idea. It was an interaction. The Berlin Wall is no longer there. And these walls, these things we create with our mind, you see. Very interesting territory. This is quantum territory. This is mystic territory. This is meditational territory. Because, and this is my looking ripens things, and they come toward me to meet and be met. So just think about what we're going to do in a couple minutes. We're going to drop down into consciousness. We're going to go inside into consciousness, drop down to the lowest, deepest level of consciousness, the heart awareness, and we're going to do Tonglen. My looking ripens things, and they come toward me to meet and be met. There's a meeting there. There's a meeting there. All of a sudden, your dead aunt, who was your wisdom figure, comes out of the emptiness, really. We'll start with doing Tonglen for ourselves, and really just the breathing. Just breathing in, breathing out through the nose, not thinking about anything, just emptying out, emptying each and every cell out of everything it thinks it knows, out of all impurities, whatever. But we're just breathing in and out for the very beginning of it. And even before I nudge you to move on, for some of you, coming out of that emptiness is somebody who maybe you hadn't thought about in the 5 years, but they pop up. Well, let me tell you, they've come to be met. They've come to be met. And when you meet them, and Tonglen is a form of, it's a quantum form of prayer, if you would like. All prayer is quantum in the sense that it's beyond time and space. And so somebody comes up to you think died long ago. Well, I do Tonglen for them. They came to be met, and I meet them here in the heart, you see, the meeting place. And this center that they talk about in centering prayer is not a physical center. I point to the chest, but sort of the center of the body, and but it's really not a physical center. But they came to meet and be met in a quantum space that's beyond time and space. It's right now. And so I invite you to go with that. Just go with whatever comes up. I'll be nudging you along, and that may be helpful, or it might be you don't need it at all. Nudging you to make it bigger. Because you're looking ripens things, so you can widen the circle of compassion, because we're working with compassion. I'm wearing the blue beads because the blue is the Tibetan color of healing. Healing means a wholeness. It means wholeness. And so, they keep talking about we're a divided country. Are we really? Or is it just the way we're seeing it? And what does it really mean to heal the divisions? What does that really mean? If it's not happening in here first, it ain't going to happen. See? So we're getting the order of what really can ripen things. It's our own perception of it, you see. It's our own looking. My looking ripens things. So keep that in mind, because, I know some people are saying, well, all right, I'm doing Tonglen, but does it really work? Well, why don't you find out? Why don't you find out and sort of just keep assessing after you come out of it, how you feel when you come out of it. But I think it's the only thing that does work, to be honest, from my point of view now. Okay, so we're going to go into meditative mode. And we're going to start with the 3 gongs, which gives you a chance to just absolutely empty everything out via the breath. So on the out breath, let everything go out. And you're emptying every cell of any preconceptions and any kind of stuff like that. And you're getting ready for whoever shows up. We don't control it. Bon voyage.